friends, welcome. Today we will be making gluten-free English muffins. And you want to start by greasing or oiling a skillet and placing 4 greased English muffin rings inside. Grease the inside of your rings and stick them in your skillet as well. And then just set that aside while we mix up the dough. If you do not have English muffin rings, you could take some aluminum foil and take out a fairly good sized strip of it and fold it and roll it kind of like you would jelly roll style, so that you have about an inch or so strip of the foil. Secure the end of the ring with a metal paper clip if you don't have the English muffin ring molds, but I do suggest you invest in them if you like English muffins and you plan to make them often like I do. So we're going to start with 1 cup of lukewarm water, and to our water we are going to add 1 tablespoon of instant rise yeast. That is different from active dry yeast. This is instant. Okay, 1 tablespoon. And then 2 teaspoons of honey. And then just mix this up a bit and we'll just set it aside to let it rise and bubble like your yeast mixtures do. And yes, I am using honey today for this recipe and not the monk fruit, because when you work with yeast you do need an actual sweetener to activate the yeast. So I choose honey if I'm not able to use monk fruit. But if you want, you could use coconut sugar or regular sugar if you have to. That is the worst nasty stuff out there. I really highly recommend you kind of steer clear of it if you can. And if you haven't checked out the YouTube video that we have on the library channel for sugar, feel free to do so. Okay, we're just going to set this aside, and then we will take a mixing bowl, and to the mixing bowl we are going to add 2/3 of a cup plus 2 teaspoons of sweet potato starch. If you don't have sweet potato starch, you could use regular potato starch. They are interchangeable. Then next we will add 1/3 of a cup plus 2 tablespoons of coconut flour, 1/4 of a cup of tapioca starch, also known as tapioca flour, just depends on the brand that you buy, 3/4 of a teaspoon of xanthan gum. That's what gives the dough, if you're not familiar with xanthan gum or guar gum, that's what kind of gives it the gluiness that you're missing from your gluten-free ingredients. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And we're just going to take a spoon and mix these together. I could use my stand mixer for this, and quite often I do because I'm taking the easy way out, but today we'll just stir it up so that you can see that things can be done without the stand mixer. The yeast mixture has sat long enough during the pause of the video so that it's bubbly. If you can see that, it's bubbled up. Obviously I've got more than a cup now. It's up to about the 2-cup mark. So we're just going to now add this to our flour mixture. Along with 1/3 of a cup of palm shortening. It's what I choose to use is a mixture of red palm oil and coconut oil, and it's an organic brand, and it's not the same as just typical shortening. You want to look for Spectrum or Nutiva brands. Those are at least the 2 that I'm familiar with that are much better for you, no trans fats, and a nice product. And we're just going to stir this together. Okay, my dough is come together. It's mixed well, no major lumps. It's kind of wet and sticky still, and that is fine. That is how it'll be. So what we want to now do is fill the ring molds with equal portions of dough. So you want to just plop that in there and kind of divide it up as best you can. Okay, so now that the dough is in the muffin ring molds, we are going to add some water to the tops. We're just going to brush them liberally with some water. And I kind of like to push on the dough a little to make it more smooth. If you noticed in that little clip, they're kind of all jagged and uneven. Now that the water is brushed on top of the dough, we're going to turn the burner on that fits your skillet. I'm going to use my large burner to medium low for 1 minute, just to heat up the pan to use it for a hot box, and then we'll turn it off. So we're going to let that heat up. We're going to cover our pan of muffins and put them on the burner. Remember, 1 minute and then turn it off. You just need to warm it up slightly. And then we'll let it sit for about 15 to 20 minutes so they can continue to rise. Okay, I'll catch you in about 20 minutes. So the English muffin dough has been rising in the pan. My dough, I let it go about 18 minutes today. I'm going to turn the burner back on to medium low. I'm going to keep the lid on, and I'm going to cook the English muffins for about 10 minutes. So medium low, 10 minutes. Okay, our English muffins have been cooking on medium low heat for about 10 minutes with the cover on. I am going to remove the cover and flip the English muffins over so we can cook them on the opposite side. They will continue to cook in the rings, and they will also cook with the lid on again. This is the most difficult part of the recipe, but the flipping, I don't know, it's my pan. They tend to stick a bit, so just be aware that can happen. But let's take a peek at how they're looking. And try to flip them over. I'm going to flip the camera around and give you a look at what one looks like, and then I'll flip the rest and cover it and cook it on medium low for about another 6 minutes. So the English muffins have been cooking for another 6 minutes. We had flipped them, put the cover back on, and let them cook for 6 more minutes on medium low. Now we're going to remove the rings. So we'll take off the cover. So the ring is off. Take the rest off. Just kind of run your knife along the inside. And do be careful, the rings are very warm because the pan is on. We're going to cover the skillet back up and leave the stove still on medium-low, and we are going to cook the muffins for about another 10 minutes. My English muffins are done cooking the final 10 minutes, and now we will turn off the stove, remove the lid, and remove the English muffins. There you go, English muffin. I'll finish removing the rest and flip the camera around and let you take a look. The English muffins have cooled, and I'm going to split them with a fork. Just kind of put the fork in and put the tines of your fork in and just wiggle a little and go around the entire English muffin. See that? And there you have it. And if you find that when you get inside the English muffin that it is not cooked all the way, you can throw it back in the skillet to finish off cooking. Just cook at a lower temperature. But I think they're fine. They seem pretty good. And I'm going to toast them in the toaster anyway, so it will be no problem. So I hope you enjoy your gluten-free English muffins, and I look forward to sharing some more gluten-free recipes with you. Have a great day.